Let's work with each other, guys. Let's not howl, please. Thank you very much, members of the media, to the leadership in front. Thank you very much, comrades, for coming here to hear from the Commander-in-Chief, the President, and the leadership of the EFF. I will start by introducing the leadership from my left, your right, the Treasurer General, Mautwe Ompile. On her immediate right is the National Chairperson, Veronica Mente, which is sitting on the left of the Deputy President. On the far right is the Deputy Secretary General, Poppy Mailula. Can we please fix the sound? It's not sounding nice. On the far right is the Deputy Secretary General, Poppy Mailula. On her left is the Secretary General, Marshal Dlamini. On the left of the Commander-in-Chief is the Deputy President, Floyd Nyiko Shibambu. And I'm introducing now the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, to take the nation through. Please, can we all listen in? The Commander-in-Chief, President. Sound. Can you please switch on the mics on the table?
Thank you very much. That's what leadership must do. Must always find an alternative. Thank you, the officials of the EFF, members of the media, the people of South Africa, the ground forces of the EFF, volunteers, party agents. The economic freedom fighters welcomes the outcome of the 2024 general election and believe that to a greater extent, they represent the will of the people. We, however, note the discrepancies, unprofessional conduct, dysfunctional occurrences, and inconsistent results capturing that have been brought to our attention from different parts of South Africa. We take this opportunity to thank all EFF ground forces for a job well done. We particularly thank our Youth and Student Mobilization Committee, which sprang into action as Mulungisi Madonsela Battalion and brought the necessary energy and dynamism into our election campaign and programs. The impact of the youth was felt in the 2024 election, and we commend the battalion for a job well done. The 2024 elections were not easy for the EFF, which was fighting not only against the ruling party, but against many puppets of the white racial capitalist establishment existing as political parties and in different media platforms. The 2024 elections were not easy because whatever effort and resources dedicated in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, parts of Gauteng, and Mpumalanga were undermined by the commendable and decisive rise of Mkhonto Wesizwe, which performed above the EFF in KZN and Mpumalanga. We nevertheless congratulate and commend the people of South Africa for voting out the ruling party from an absolute parliamentary majority, which was abused since 1994. Over the past 30 years, the ANC had used its parliamentary majority to protect mediocrity and corruption, and to also preclude any form of alternative perspective and thoughts on how our country should be governed. In the recent past, during the EFF's participation in Parliament, the ANC misused its parliamentary majority to do the following: distorted and voted against the EFF motion that sought to amend Section 25 of South Africa's Constitution, which would have made it possible to expropriate without compensation and to make the state the legitimate custodian of all of South Africa's land. Voted against the EFF motion, which sought to repeal all colonial and apartheid legislations that are still part of South Africa's legislative body and system. Voted against the EFF motion to conduct a parliamentary inquiry on the conditions and remuneration of mine workers and farm workers in South Africa. Voted against the EFF motion to introduce free quality education for the poor at institutions of higher learning. Voted against a parliamentary motion to investigate the allegation of corruption in Eskom. Voted against a well-investigated and clear report on the criminal activities that took place in Palapala farm of the sitting president Cyril Ramaphosa. Voted for the illegal suspension and expulsion of EFF members of parliament from parliamentary participation, which prevented the EFF from participating in the 2024 State of the Nation address. This and many other anomalies constitute the core of how the former liberation movement misused its parliamentary majority and dismally failed to bring about thoroughgoing economic emancipation to the people of South Africa. In the past 30 years, the EFF dismally failed to use the ANC dismally failed to use the parliamentary majority to bring about legislative changes that will have improved the living conditions of our people. We therefore appropriate that for the first time since 1994, the parliamentary majority of the ANC has been broken, and that from now henceforth, Parliament will take decisions based on logic and sense and not on entitlement of being the sole dominant ruling party. Parliament will now be better positioned as a true representative of our people and not a platform to protect the political elite of the ruling class. Now that the parliamentary majority of the ANC has been broken and there is no single political party that can constitute government on its own, we as the EFF will be engaging with different political parties on how we elect leadership of parliament and constitute a government that will lead South Africa for the next 5 years. We will engage with all political parties with an appreciation that a government should be constituted within the next 14 days, meaning that some of the issues might be resolved after the base agreements have been reached. As previously mandated by the Central Command Team, CCT, after the 2021 local government elections, the EFF negotiations principles are as follows. Appreciation of the EFF 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillars for economic freedom in our lifetime, service delivery commitments with timelines particularly on land, jobs, water, electricity, flushing toilets, and care for the people with disability. Anti-racism, meaning that whatever coalition is an outcome of EFF participation must not reinforce white supremacy and Afrikanerdom. Anti-imperialism, meaning that whoever we partner with must not be a puppet or representation of the West imperialist agenda and interests in South Africa. Commitment to Africa, common prosperity and development. Publication of all the concrete agreements reached with coalition partners to avoid a perception that they are secret agreements. Constant and honest engagements and reports to the people on the progress made on coalitions. Additionally, our negotiation principle and demands will include the following: amendment of the Constitution to realize land expropriation without compensation in 6 months, creation of state-owned bank, nationalization of the South African Reserve Bank, cancellation of the historical student debt in 12 months, creation of a state pharmaceutical company in 12 months, passing of insourcing bill in 12 months, removal of distem from the national anthem, opening of clinics for 24 hours, 7 days a week, provision of free sanitary towels for all who need them, provision of free water and electricity for all SASSA beneficiaries. We will engage with all political parties that accept our principle and demands as legitimate, and will respect political parties that believe that our demands are irrational and must not be entertained. While we have decided to form part of the government of South Africa from 2024 onwards, we are not desperate for positions and will not sacrifice principle on the altar of political convenience. The EFF final list of members of parliament and provincial legislatures will be amended to reflect the work done during elections. Those who did not play any role in the election work of the EFF will not go to parliament or provincial legislature, even if their names appear higher on the list submitted before the elections. The EFF officials who are mandated to be the final list committee will meet during the course of the week to conclude on the final list of those who are going to represent the EFF in national parliament and in different provincial legislatures. We advise all EFF members and leaders to comply with the decision of upper structures. Finally, we once again say thank you to our voters, supporters, and those who pledged financial and non-financial support to our movement. We also convey our gratitude to those who kept us in their prayers so that we all are protected during the election program. Thank you, South Africa. Re a leboha, siabonga. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, President. We will take a round of hands. You can just show your hands and then we will acknowledge you. Babum Page, I see you are the first to raise your hand. Number 2. Is there any hand that I'm not seeing? I've got a... Okay, I see you, CD. Stay. That's number 4. I can't see you. My sister sitting down. You're number 5. My brother, number 6.
Number 7 is there.
Number 7. Wait. Okay, number 7, I see you. On the far right.
By the light.
Okay, you're number 8. Okay, comrades, everyone who takes the question from number 1, please introduce yourself and give us the outlet at which you're coming from. Thank you very much. Let's start with number 1. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. I know I'm behind the cameras, Mr. Malema, so you may not see me, but you'll hear the voice. It's Mzwandile Mbeje from SAPC. I hear you mentioning some of the key principles that will guide your negotiation in the formation of the government or coalition. But what is it, maybe let me ask it this way, what is it that you are willing to somehow compromise, given that in a negotiation of this nature is a give and take? Out of that principles which you have laid out quite clearly, but I mean you are aware that South Africans have given you half in terms of mandate. So what is it that you as EFF are willing to somehow compromise? Thanks.
Number 2. Number 3, everyone who's taking a question, please quietly move to a mic near you. On the tables, there are mics. They're working. Yeah, just use the mic because you don't have a shop steward voice, you guys. So use the mic here. Sit.
Thank you so much. Tidi Madia from Eyewitness News. Just a couple of questions from me.
Can utilize this one. So that
But I'm on the mic.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Tidi Madia from Eyewitness News. I'm looking at the EFF's performance year on year, election on election. We've watched the EFF grow. We're not necessarily watching that case now. I know people are making a case around the MK party. But as the EFF, and I know it might be too soon, reflected on the role it's played in its current position. And I mentioned that, Julius, because over the years, there's been the KZN buses issue, about KZN councillors or the buses issue. There have been issues about seeing people who've been rejected supposedly by the ANC being given posts in parliament. I've heard EFF members saying, but we're working to reward these people. So has the EFF also reflected on whether or not you've also played a part in what's happened on that leaderboard behind us? An issue of coalitions. You worked with
The leadership did not hear the question. Make the question, Tidi. Yeah. Don't worry, we'll understand.
Take 2. When the EFF looks at its current performance, have you played a part as the EFF in where you've come out, in those numbers there? In the past, every other election we've seen you grow. That's not the case in 2024. It's not just, for me, it's not just an MK question. Does the EFF look at itself and say, maybe we also need to reflect on what we should have done better? Right? That's the first question. Secondly, on the issue of coalitions, in 2016, you were in a working relationship with the DA. You're currently in one with the ANC in Ekurhuleni. Part of what the ANC keeps saying is that it wasn't a working relationship. As they look at coalitions now, they say EFF is not desirable because it's difficult to manage the EFF. Is that an unfair assessment from where you stand as you go to the table? And just very quickly, Vianney, last one. My last one, I swear. You have a list of your cardinal pillars that are part of what you go into negotiations with. Some are saying, based on your current performance, you're not going there to the table with the upper hand, that you have no right to dictate the terms. You need to be more amenable to what is possible. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Comrades, let's keep our questions pointed and precise. Number 4.
Good afternoon. My name is Tembile Cele. I'm with Bloomberg News. The first question, just around the configurations that you're thinking of in terms of coalitions, I wonder if you would consider a government of national unity in which all parties that have reached an agreed upon threshold would automatically participate. Would you be in favor of that? That's the one configuration. The second one would be whether or not the agreement that you would be in favor of would affect just the national picture, or if there's scope for it to be a wholesale agreement which would then consider where you participate in local municipalities and at a provincial level as well. And then please, the last one, Vianney, if possible, will you wait for parties to come to you for these coalition talks, or are there parties that you've identified that you would like to make the approach to first? And which are those parties, if that is the case? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Number 5.
Thank you very much. My name is Lunga. I'm from the Mail and Guardian. Look, I just wanted to ask CIC, during the media briefing, I think it was just before the elections, you said that your position would be in jeopardy if you didn't do well in these elections. Do you feel that there might be some issues where the EFF might want to change you from the leadership? And secondly, do you think the emergency of MK was the reason that the EFF didn't do so well in this election? And what do you think of how they did? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Number 6. Let's move swiftly. Number 6. Okay, we're skipping number 7.
Hello, Alexis Akwajiram. I'm the managing editor of Semaphore Africa. My question is, are there any preconditions with which you would deal with the ANC? And specifically, would you be prepared to work with the ANC only if Ramaphosa stepped down. I ask this because MK said they would not work with the ANC with Ramaphosa in place.
Thank you. Number 7.
Questions have been asked.
Number 8, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mawande. I work for the Sunday World. Mr. Malema, you start off by saying you accept the results. What has changed? Because we saw a lot of complaints, especially from EFF quarters in the Western Cape, about the results, and just generally, EFF members have been among those claiming vote rigging, vote manipulation, and all sorts of fraudulent behavior that they allege against the IEC. Does the leadership feel differently, or did something change between the heightened complaining and now? And then maybe secondly, is the EFF among potential partners willing to work with the DA, which declared the EFF coming into these elections as enemy number 1? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think the first round is done. We'll give it to the leadership, Commander-in-Chief.
Thank you very much. We have just outlined our cardinal pillars and issues that will be demanding to the ANC. And we can't say now that these were prepared to let go or not. Because, like you said, negotiations of this nature need you to be ready to compromise on certain things. But there are certain fundamental things that you know that these are deal breakers. For instance, the issue of land is not something that you can compromise on. But we'll go and engage, open-minded kind of an engagement, and then we'll take it from there. We want to work with the ANC. If there's any party that we can work with and work properly, is the ANC. Because ANC, when compromised, is not arrogant. And ANC, when it doesn't have absolute majority, and it happens that you share power with them, they never recover from losing power. So if we're to go to election again in the next 2 years, the ANC is sitting at 40% now. For sure they're going to come back with 15%. Because after losing elections, they don't do any effort, nothing, to change some attitude. So once they say the ANC has lost what, you must know they are going to lose forever. So don't worry. That's why we prefer them, because they will never grow. We did a self-reflection, and we did very well as the EFF. We did what a well-established political party does, and including those buses, those people that were expelled for not bringing buses, we have no regret at all. They did not impact us anyway. I just said in the statement now, when we're running elections, you'll find that there are people who are not playing a role in the elections, but they are on the list. So there is a principle, a guideline that was issued during elections when we're constituting election teams and converting our structures into election teams, that everybody must go perform where they are assigned. And then some decided not to do their work. And because they were disturbing the work of the elections, we said, just go home, we'll see you after these elections. So we're going to see them to tell them to decline their seat in parliament. Because you can't sit at home and then go and dance at the rents in Cape Town, rands, when people are fighting to put up a rally and all of that. You have no role to play. You sit at home, straight from rands, you go to parliament. It will never happen, that one. Never. It's not going to happen. Look, we are going to negotiate with the ANC the same way we did in 2016. We were stronger in 2016. I mean, we were in 2016. We were almost the same numbers. If I'm not wrong, those numbers changed in 2019 to be what they were, 1.888 something. So that was not the number that we went with to the negotiations with the ANC with. We went to the ANC with the number that we have now. The same number we have now. That's the number we took when we went to have the elections with the ANC. So this is what happened. So we were doing very well. After 2019, we did well in 2019, and we did well in 2021. And then we had a slight decline now. Why? The people who were supporting President Zuma after 2019, I mean, when President Zuma was removed, they had no any other home because they didn't want Cyril. So they ended up coming to us, not coming in a form of taking membership. But when it came to voting, they said, well, amongst other these parties, the closest to what we want is the EFF. And then they went to vote for the EFF. That's why if you look at the number of the EFF, which shocked us, and it is now being explained by this. In 2019, we were just sitting and then we get 350,000 votes. We're like, In KwaZulu-Natal, Which ones from where now? What happened? What did we do? We were shocked by receiving numbers. We even told you this. We repeated it in public platform. We don't know where those numbers came from. Now there is an explanation. Those people were never ours. They were President Zuma's people. So it's good they found their home. They must relax in their home. There is absolutely no problem. We are fine. We are no. Like this. This is us. We are complete now. SG. There is no borrowed vote. So that's what explains CD. There is nothing that you can say the EFF didn't do and all of that. Hey, maybe that's why they did not get people. We got our people, and people who had borrowed us our vote, their vote, found a new political home, and then they went there. Remember, they didn't want Ramaphosa. In the ANC, they lost. Then, when they went to the polls in the country, they didn't vote for him. They voted for the EFF. And then, when they went to arrest the old man, then it was a mess. A discussion which I had with President Ramaphosa. Or you can't do what you are doing. You are going to make him a hero. Because it's not explainable what you want to arrest him for. So, and July unrest should have told us that the man has got some support somewhere. And start treating him with care. But even after taking him out of jail, they still go on to harass him and all. None of them have gone to him to apologize. So, but we are happy. We are the happiest because we have achieved our mission in our lifetime. And that mission was to bring the ANC below 50%. That's what we have always told you, that this animal is going to be eaten piece by piece. So, Reina, we were holding on this other piece, preparing to go to the other piece of the animal. Hey, Zuma arrived and took that piece. We're eating piece by piece. And then Zuma went to take the piece we're going to. But we don't complain. We want to humble the ANC. The ANC is very humble. All of you can go on social media. Kaofela lo tjela tja o phapha tja ANC di disappearile. All of them have disappeared. They have nothing to say. Slave Queen is on her. Samo Gauteng. Tjhelete ne ba fa di Slave Queen. Ba fa tjhelete as tjhaba ba fa di Slave Queen. No more money for Slave Queens. It's done. We've taken the purse. The purse is gone. You can go and look at the ANC in Tshwane. Go and look at the ANC in Ikuruleni. Go and look at the ANC in Joburg. They are dysfunctional. They have no direction because they lost power during local government. That disarray, you are going to see it at a provincial level. Thanks to the EFF. We started this job and we are continuing with it. Someone was asking me if I'm going to resign because we performed bad. I won't do that. It's not a penny. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. I'm in charge. I'm in charge. That must be very clear. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere in terms of politics. I'm not going anywhere in terms of health. I'm not going anywhere in terms of age. Ours is a generational mission. It's not a popcorn that will just pop and disappear. It's going to stay. We have a staying power. And in Parliament, we're going to lose, if we lose seats, 2-3 seats. And we used to razzmatazz that Parliament. Before we were 44, we were how many? 25. We were razzmatazing it, 25 of us. So even if you take 3 seats, we're not going back to 25. We're still where we're not during that time of 25. So we're not a declining party. The footprint of the EFF is now confirmed that it exists in every municipality in South Africa. It gets its votes in every corner. It gets its vote now, TD, even in the suburbs. If you can go and look at the map of Joburg, you will see the VDs that EFF was taking in Midrand, in Centurion, in Randburg, and very interesting development. That we even beat DA in one of their stronghold. So the black middle class has found home in the EFF. They love the EFF. They vote for it. And they do so unashamedly. Proper progressive black middle class that is not money driven, that doesn't want to benefit from Rothschild, Rupert, Oppenheimer, Richard Branson of Virgin, what. Only blacks who don't benefit from that, the black elite, believes in the EFF, black middle class. So I can tell you now, go and check the votes of EFF in the areas where there are black people. You are going to find votes of the EFF. So, and then an organization like that you say is dying. It's not dying. In any election, there will always be dynamics. And the dynamic now is, there was an emergence of this party. Now we know it. What President Zuma did to us is what Mashaba did to us in Johannesburg. And then once we became aware, or there is a problem called Mashaba, we went to solve that problem, Shem. It's done. We finished it. You can go around and ask. For sure, he's checking quotations of hair products now. He's going back to do hair. Don't have time. We came here making noise. We reminded him many times, now you behave like you are something. And then the country showed him that is nothing. And the rest of those other people who went to eat people's monies, they received so many millions, so many. They can only brag about one seat and all of that. The biggest loser in this election is the ANC. And we must never try to be clever and shift that to the EFF and want to project the EFF as if it has lost a province or it has lost a country. People lose a country, people lose a province. You want to say the EFF has lost. What? We have won. And elegas tokomel. Letlo re krea re le ka mo di officing ja bo ministera. Ja mmusho. Now this time on re a tsena shema bile a re tlo emela. Ai a re tlo ema. Le di negotiation jana je re a di kwa mara. Ya o tsena. Ya o tsena re a tsena. A re tlo emela o reng e tlhaga kae? O tlhaga. O rai batho bana ba reng a ba votele ANC a ba nyaka ANC tsamaya ba re ANC a ba fimetsi a ba feng tsamaya manskralo cheka gore ba vote jimang ba jile metsi a bola batho ba bona ba tlhokofala. Go and check when o to tawiti o garo you are principle beyond principle. Ai ra tla bontshana no le stay ne izena ka tla re ka bontshana. ANC is a good heritage. Because we have to sustain this organization. We accept the result, but it doesn't mean when there's a discrepancy there, you can't raise it. To raise a discrepancy does not mean you are rejecting the results, because that discrepancy may not have material effect. Even if you succeed, it will just give you are added 1,000, you are added 2,000, but it's to teach the IEC also a lesson and principle and expose these shenanigans that there are people who are swapping results from result slip and captured. So it's a principle we need to pursue. But when we looked at those discrepancies, that they are of no material effect, and therefore you can't say on the basis of that you reject the result. We accept the result. We accept the defeat. We are unable to congratulate anyone for being elected president, because there's no president now. Yeah. There's no one. Even the one who's the current now, he doesn't know if he's going to be president tomorrow. Yeah. Nagito voter Limpopo, I just came back now. Wait, you are the boy. Diasukano. Unyaga or behave, you guys behave, you got the president. Yeah, must not talk after talking. What are you saying? Be clear. Want to hear what are they saying, and we are not going to call them. Well, we don't call anyone. They will call us if they want us. And if they want us, we are here. We are not going to disappear. Let's talk. And out of those talks, the people of South Africa are going to benefit. We thank the Rasmatas in all the universities. There's no single university that we lost. The young intelligentsia is the one that is able to read and internalize the 240-something election manifest. So, and we are going to do bashes for them. We are going to celebrate those victories in all those institutions where we won. We have told the Youth and Student Mobilization Committee, go back to thank those young people who stood on the queues and voted for the EFF. We must remain in close contact with our voters. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Commander-in-Chief. We'll take the last round of hands.
There was a story of government of national unity. Rena Serna Mandela. Yeah. We don't do government of national unity. We don't want it. So we want coalition. We don't want government of national unity. We will end up with wrong people.
Thanks, Commander-in-Chief. We'll take the last round of hands, and you must forever hold your peace if you don't raise your hand now. There are no follow-ups after this. There are many other businesses, as you have heard, that the leadership must be engaged in. So I'm going to start from the back there, that gentleman there. You are number 1. My sister, you are number 2. You are number 3. Is there any other? Number 4, 5, 6. Okay, I can't see you. 7. No, 6 is 6. I counted it. Another one? Okay, 7, yeah, we see you. We're closing at 7. No, okay, that's fine. Number 1 at the back there, can we start? Sir, you can ask your question.
Faraz Patel from Hilal TV. Mr. Malema, I want to ask about the ICC arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and UF Gallant. What is your take on that, and how much of a litmus test this is going to be for international law? And added to that, obviously the EFF brought the motion to remove the Israeli embassy from South Africa. If the EFF is in a stronger position now to get it removed, what happens then? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sound guys, please give us a proper sound. Number 2.
Good afternoon, everyone. Zoleka Kodashe from the SABC. Mr. Malema, I want to know, you made the comparison between Action SA and MK as being the new kids on the block, right? I want to know, though, will you deploy or employ the same method that you used with Action SA, or would you be willing to work with the MK party, and to what extent? And if that is the case, and then we do see a relationship forming between the MK party and the EFF and potentially the ANC, would a precondition be that the president of the ANC step aside for that relationship to take place if the ANC does not act against him? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We go to number 3.
Good day. My name is Lizega Tandwa. I'm from the Sunday Times. Mr. Malema, some have said that how you narrated your view on open borders might have hurt you in these elections, in that you were seen to be a bit antagonistic in your messaging. Have you reflected on that? And as well as when you say that you are going to ministries, are you still intent on having Mr. Floyd Shivambu as the finance minister? And my third and last question, well, it isn't. It was Steer's question around whether your negotiations, will they encompass the entirety of the country, or will you focus purely on national? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My sister there, they skipped you, Lisa.
Thank you. My name is Deborah Monyeki from Love World Set. Mr. Malema.
Sorry.
The last one.
Okay. Lisa, can you please repeat your question, but make it point at the last one?
Just in terms of negotiations, obviously with MK dominating in KZN, it kind of limits the conversation with the ANC in that province. So what kind of negotiations will you go into the ANC with?
Okay. My sister?
Thank you. My name is Deborah Monyeki from Love World Set. Mr. Malema, at the World Health Assembly last week on the 28th of May, the member states of World Health Organization reiterated that the world needs a pandemic agreement built on the principles of equity, sovereignty, and prevention to ensure that future generations are safeguarded from the threat of inevitable future pandemics. Are we going to see EFF lobbying other political parties in Parliament for South Africa to support the pandemic treaty? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll go to number 5. Okay, thank you.
Good day, Mr. Malema. It's Ntando from Bloomberg News. Just wondering if you have started thinking about presidential candidates in whatever coalition formation you end up with. What would some of the criteria be to elect a presidential candidate?
Thank you. We'll go to the next hand. Yeah.
Sorry, Jadwat here from Salam Media. The first question is, does the EFF believe that the timeline stipulated for the formation of a coalition government is sufficient, given the current political climate? And then my second question has obviously been covered in that regard.
I thought I was the only one. Can you please use a much stronger voice than you're using now?
All right. The second question then, of course, having been covered is...
No, we still can't hear you.
The second question being has...
Okay, read it. Say it again.
All right. So starting from scratch, does the EFF believe that the timeline stipulated for the formation of a coalition government is sufficient, given the current political climate? And secondly, does it matter to the EFF who is at the helm of the ANC when you enter into negotiations?
Okay. You can go. Please try to utilize the mic there.
Mr. Malema, this is Christian from Netwerk 24 speaking. My question is, do you rule out coalition talks with any specific parties, and what are those parties? And seeing that the EFF and the ANC will not have enough seats to, on their own, have a coalition, what other parties, could there be possibly that a third party would be involved, and which party would you prefer? Thank you.
Thank you. Brother there.
Good day, Mr. Malema. My name is Saeed. I'm from Phoenix TV. So my question is, given the experience from the municipalities, the idea of coalition, what lessons can be learned from this experience when it comes to the national government?
Okay, thank you. The last hand. Yeah. Please switch it on.
Abangani Siziba News Central TV. I just want to ask, there are some that are saying EFF lost because of your stance about foreigners. Do you still stand by that even after your votes have decreased?
Okay, thank you very much, colleagues. That was the last round of hands. Commander-in-Chief, President.
Thank you very much. The EFF welcomes the arrest of Netanyahu, and part of the engagements in the coalition agreements will be the implementation of the resolution of the previous parliament, which said Israeli embassy must leave South Africa. So we are still going to emphasize that. Action SA made it very clear that they are the enemy of the EFF. And the Action SA did not have a manifesto. Their manifesto was EFF. Everywhere Herman went was tweeting about EFF. EFF this, EFF that. Look at him now. He didn't concentrate on his organization. He's concentrating on other people's organizations. So we don't care about Action SA. MK, we are relatives. We are together. If I had to do saying they don't want to work with the ANC, there's no problem. But now we'll work with them. We'll work with the ANC and work with them also. There's no problem. We are not far from each other. We are one thing with MK, so there's absolutely no crisis. If MK doesn't want to work with the ANC national, and then we work with the ANC national, there's nothing stopping us to work with MK in KwaZulu-Natal, and also in Gauteng. So Mpumalanga as well. So there is no problem. There's no animosity between MK and the EFF. So that's what you guys throughout this campaign, you were trying by all means to try and create a division, and we refused to fall into that. Floyd will be a minister of finance if they agree, these people, because he's the most qualified in all respect. None of the people they've put there have got the understanding of that institution better than Floyd. We're putting a best candidate forward. Pandemic treaty, we agree with that. We'll support that. Open border, we're supporting foreigners and all of that. Okay, if this issue is the one that has costed elections for the EFF, why didn't this issue give Mashaba votes? It's not true what you are saying. Rena problem ya rena. MK. MK took our votes, which it borrowed to us in 2019. There's no any other explanation other than that. If this issue was a concerning issue in South Africa, Gayton Mackenzie, Mabahambe with 2 seats, Mabahambe. They didn't help anyone with anything. You are not going to be made to compromise a principle to please non-existing voters. Our voters understand our message very well. Our open border policy is, we want Africa that is one. But you cannot do that before you develop the other economies of Africa. And you develop the economies of other African continents through making it easy for goods and services to move around the continent and individuals to move around the continent so that we help develop the continent. These people don't want to come here for the sake of coming here. They want jobs, they want greener pastures. We are a big country, we've got a huge capacity. We can develop their countries and benefit out of that in a huge way. And it's not something that you get elected today. Tomorrow you'll be carrying gates around you in a bag. We have removed these gates. Come. No. Doesn't work like that. You guys are just vulgarizing the whole point. People, 40-something thousand people, 41% of those voters voted for the ANC, which is the one that brought these people here. These people are here already, undocumented. They were brought by the ANC. Why are 41% voting for the ANC still? Because if you hate these foreigners so much, you must hate even a party that has made it possible for these foreigners to enter South Africa. Who has benefited from these xenophobic attacks in these elections? No one. Operation Dodola was contesting elections. They are not going to get anything. Back to the village where they come from. Don't have time. South Africa. So we are refusing. We are refusing to switch off oxygen machines. And if you comrades are saying that thing is the one that is costing us vote, let it continue costing us vote. We are refusing to switch off machines. We are refusing to deny children, African children, to study in our schools because we are told they are from a certain country. But they are Africans. Our interest is to educate Africans. We cannot allow that. If this issue is going to make us remain the 5 of us, 6 of us, so be it. We're not going to retreat on a lie, on a scaremongering. The issue when we started in 2014 and 2019, it was land. They were saying, yeah, EFF is going to take your land. They even did a program to give people a title deeds. We're giving you title deeds. EFF doesn't want you to have title deeds. Now they realize the issue of the land is not working. They go find something there, which is non-existent. It's a lie. If you doubt me, go and talk to Mashaba. He will tell you how big a lie is this thing of being xenophobic. And then you think you are going to get votes. No. We don't want votes of tribalists, by the way. We don't want votes of racists. We don't want votes of people who thrive on the division of the working class. We don't want regionalistic politics. That's why we are national in character. And we reject regionalistic politics. We reject tribalism. Because tribalism is equal to racism. Once we start engaging in tribalistic politics as a country, you must be rest assured we're inviting a disaster in this country. Because the worst thing with tribalism is that it will lead to a situation where people fight in the same country. It will lead to a civil war. Tribalism goes straight to civil war. That's why we don't subscribe to those things. Someone was saying, why are the Limpopo people not voting for Malema in Limpopo? The Limpopo people are voting for the EFF. I don't want to be voted by the people of Limpopo on the basis of me coming from Limpopo. I don't want that. The EFF is not from Limpopo. It's Julius Malema who's from Limpopo, not EFF. So don't want to locate our organization into some province. We are a national organization. That's why we fight battles in every corner of South Africa, and we are going to continue doing that. Whether we are in government or not, we are going to fight for our people. We are not going to behave here like people who are riding on a high horse and then abandon the character of fighting for our people. We will continue to fight for our people. And what gives us courage is the young vote from the universities. It means we are growing with a generation. The old will die, the new will emerge. So, I used to say Ramaphosa is a big problem and all of that. Now, that issue is not my problem. It's not my problem. Or Ramaphosa, okay, president, or I say president, it's not my president. It's the president of those things. So don't involve me in the... We are going to bring our list. People are going to bring their list. And then we put together. Yes. So, if we didn't want Ramaphosa, why didn't you vote him out? And stop asking us to do things that you didn't do. You had an opportunity to vote Ramaphosa out, you didn't do it. You know Malema will do it. Do it yourself. The ANC has got all the right to remove Ramaphosa if they want. We are not getting involved there. We don't want. Ramaphosa is not our preferred cup of tea. It's not our preferred. But he can't be a deal breaker. We don't prefer him. We know that he was a collaborator. We know that he's got billions, but he doesn't produce anything. He's not in manufacturing. He's not in agriculture. How do you become a billionaire like that? You do that by selling out your own people. So we can say a lot about Ramaphosa, but he's not an EFF president. So we choose EFF leaders. Even who's going to parliament, to cabinet, it will be us who choose from the EFF side, and then they will choose from their side. They can bring a person you hate so much. You have not won elections, win elections and appoint the people you love. So there's nothing you can do. We are here. That's where we are. So, you know, the good thing with the EFF is that we speak to everyone, including those small boys of the DA with their grandmother, Helen. We can talk to all of them. Those racists, we have no problem. But we talk to them out of principle. We are not going to find each other. Shame. We are not going to find each other. We just talk because we are talking. But there's nothing we're going to really find from those people. How do you have an opposition declaring an opposition and then leaving the ruling party to concentrate on the opposition? And all of them, they get formed and then they concentrate on the opposition. Even the new ones, you can see they are bought by Oppenheimer to go and chase the EFF. They wanted to finish this EFF in these elections. The Oppenheimers took millions and millions of money. Barry, hey, we don't want this kind of an arrangement. This EFF is a big problem. They went out to finish the EFF. Look at us now. Oppenheimer. We're here. We're a problem for another 5 years. They have to deal with that. They have to deal with that. Let that parliament must know. The new speaker, don't be a crook. If you become a crook, you will find us ready for you. So, we are in a very good mood, looking forward to go to Cape Town. We must go clean up our boots and our overalls. Sangen, Pesguam. Lessons from coalitions. The only thing you must do in a coalition is to be humble and don't lie. The ANC lies a lot. That's their problem, and that's what is going to be part of the discussions with them. They lie a lot. They say this and then say something else. Say this and say something else. There is a mayor there, Eni Gurlen, who went to take the powers of the MMC of Finance, because MMC of Finance is our MMC. He must return those powers. He must return those powers. Otherwise, we are putting a motion of no confidence against him. Of the ANC. He must return the powers. We agreed when we were talking that there's no one who's going to move alone without engaging other partners. He goes to give a speech and then he announces he removes certain powers from the MMC of Finance. He must know elections are over. We are now on him. And that is going to be part of what we are going to discuss with his leadership. Vulamlo. What is Vulamlo? Return the powers. To show sign of being honorable. Return the powers of the MMC. So that's Vulamlo. So learn to be humble. Learn to know you have not won elections. And then always navigate through. Take each other into confidence. Do not seek to outshine others and convert them as if they are just your puppets and voting kettles, like they're trying to do in Johannesburg municipality. We're not going to allow that. Elections are over now. We're going to govern where we're governing. We're going to govern properly. And we're not going to allow the ANC corruption. One of the positions we're going to demand from the ANC is a speaker. The Speaker of Parliament. Because we can't go into a coalition with the ANC and not have a speaker. The ANC is running the executive. We have to run the speaker so we monitor them and we make them accountable. So the Speaker of Parliament might be sitting in front. So we really want to thank everybody. Thank you, media. Those who covered us positively, those who covered us negatively, we understand. It's brown envelopes, they work like that. They make you say the things that you don't believe in. We defeated News 24 as well, because it was in a cahoots with our enemies. And then we defeated Daily Maverick, and we defeated Oppenheimer, Rupert, the Minel family. We defeated ENCA. When MK was overtaking, the first overtaking of MK by the leaderboard there, I was in a house where they were watching ENCA. Yes, sir. Those ENCA people were celebrating like the EFF has lost elections. So you can see that these people, they don't love us. They do everything in their power to get rid of us. We are not going anywhere. It's corner. And we are in all legislatures, by the way, comfortably. Too much. We are in this thing for a very long time. Ours is a generational mission. Ours is a generational mission. There is no one on this table who is 60 years old on this table. So we are here for many years to come. If President Zuma can do it at 82, just not even 50 on this table. So if President Zuma can do it at 82, it means you are going to wait for me until I turn 82. Because I will be here. If President Zuma can hold it until then, CD, I'm not going anywhere. I'm with you. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members of the media. That's it for today. Aluta continua. Thanks, comrade.